For a long time, descriptions of human perception resembled a one-way delivery system. The assumption was that our eyes and ears act like passive cameras and microphones, recording physical events and sending raw data up to a waiting brain to be assembled. That bottom-up account captures part of the sensory process, but it fails to explain how the nervous system deals with information that is noisy or incomplete. It leaves us wondering how two people can look at the same photograph of a dress and vehemently disagree over whether it is blue and black or white and gold. Cognitive science suggests the brain draws upon memory and prior experience to estimate what's most likely happening before conscious awareness has finished assembling the scene. The mind actively anticipates reality, reaching forward to meet the world rather than waiting for it to arrive. This shift in understanding is described by a framework known as predictive processing, or the Bayesian brain. This animated diagram illustrates the core mechanism. The brain continuously generates top-down hypotheses, comparing them against bottom-up sensory signals. When the internal guess fails to match reality, the discrepancy is called a prediction error. This creates immediate pressure to revise the model. Neuroscientist Anil Seth describes this generative process as controlled hallucination. The control aspect of this concept is vital. Physical reality constantly pushes back against our expectations, disciplining the brain's guesses so we remain tethered to our environment. Our everyday reality is actually the brain's most successful, reality-tested guess. If perception is an educated guess, why do certain signals command our attention while others vanish? A creaking floorboard in your own home might be ignored, while that exact same sound in a dark, unfamiliar building triggers an immediate panic response. The nervous system uses a function called precision weighting to decide which signals are reliable enough to amplify and which should be suppressed as background noise. Emotional context changes these sensory weights. We can see this in psychological research conducted by Jolie Wormwood following the Boston Marathon bombings. Slowly panning across these surveillance photos and handwritten notes reveals the heavy context behind Wormwood's study. Her team found that participants exposed to threatening media descriptions of the event were far more likely to misidentify harmless, unarmed targets as threats. Fear drastically lowers the threshold for what we perceive as dangerous, proving that emotional framing literally rewrites what our eyes report to our conscious mind. These predictions also occur within the body through a process called interoception, the perception of internal bodily states. Psychologist Lisa Feldman Barrett suggests that internal physical sensations, like a suddenly racing heart, arrive without built-in emotional labels. The brain assigns meaning to these sensations based on context and expectation, deciding in a fraction of a second if a racing heart represents terror, physical effort, or excitement. This predictive logic applies to physical pain as well. Pain operates as a protective experience constructed by the brain rather than a mechanical meter reading of tissue damage. Placebo and nocebo effects show that a patient's expectations can physically alter the neural pathways involved in pain processing, even when the actual state of the body's tissues remains unchanged. Human suffering, illness, and physical sensation are complex protective experiences shaped by the brain's history. Applying this framework to trauma helps us understand why survivors often inhabit a perceptual world organized around the possibility of harm. Hypervigilance is a logical survival system. It applies massive weight to potential threats because, as the shadows on this street begin to distort, we see the brain assigning significance to signs that danger has returned. Predictive processing carries an unsettling implication. It can feel as though our entire conscious experience is trapped within the patterns formed by our past beliefs and traumas. However, humans possess metacognition, the ability to notice our own interpretations. This allows us to recognize that our immediate perception is merely a first draft of reality. Understanding that our minds predict reality before seeing it creates the space needed to question our assumptions, heal from our past, and allow the world to truly surprise us.
Thank you for watching. If something in this resonated with you, then you're already closer than you think. If you're ready to go deeper, there's a link below to my book, Nothing is Only One Thing: Quantum Reality, Buddhist Emptiness, and the Mystery Beneath Appearances. This isn't theory. It's a framework you can actually use tap the link below and step into it.